Violet leaves rustle against the bleach-white trunks of the ashen canes. The forest is significantly more sparse than you remember, though you're not sure if that's because you were all children the last time you saw it, or because of the young trees being left to grow while the fellmen travel further out for wood. As branches give way, you see for the first time in 15 years the jagged crown, which is jagged no longer, having been reinforced with new stone to form a much more imposing protective wall around what is now called Canderville. One familiarity rings out, a single toll of a familiar bell that seems to hearken your arrival as those atop the wall spot your party exiting the Ashen Canes. As you approach, the gates to the city slowly open before halting about a third of the way up, which is just enough space for yourselves and your wagon to be admitted. But before you can even get close enough to enter, a number of guards step out from within the city. None of them look familiar to any of you, but the one who clearly appears to be in charge approaches Alvir at the front of the group, joined by another guard carrying a small crate. There's been a new decree. Vulgarities are to remain veiled within the city walls. How many are among your number? What, we can't even show our faces in the city now? You're lucky to be allowed within the walls at all, whittled man. We come bearing supplies that will keep your family warm tonight, Leifnir. And My family is none of your concern, Alvi. You're lucky that her brilliance allows your kind within the city walls at all. Her word is law. Will you comply, or do we have a problem here? Alvir's glance momentarily flickers to the many guards standing behind the captain, each armed with a short sword at their waist and a bardiche in hand, which is a long pole arm that has this wicked-looking curved blade at the end. You can see as Alvir's jaw kind of clenches for a moment before he just responds. 12 of us. Captain Leifnir counts out a number of these lacy black cloths from the crate and presses them roughly against Alvir's chest. And you're to keep your hoods up if you want to cross the bridge to Hearthvale. And there's a moment of tension before Alvi takes the clothes and turns away from the guard. The guards make way for your party to enter. There's a brief stop as they look through the cart that's being pulled along by a woolly tortoise, carrying the various supplies and things that the Luxons plan to sell at the market. Saoirse, as you are first approached, you catch a brief smirk on Alvir's face as he hands this little, small black cloth to you. Looks like they're doing part of the job for us, at least. And as he hands it to you, he puts one on himself, and you see it's like a black hood that goes over the shoulders and the head, and there's a thin bit of lace that's been sewn over the face hole that you can see out of, but can't be seen like your face through it. Each of your party are handed one of these lacy hoods. The Fisker brothers, you aren't required to wear them, as you are not technically considered vulgarities. But anyone who changed during the Ember Flare is expected to cover their face now. And unfortunately, those of you who do will have disadvantage on perception checks that rely on sight, because you can see through it, but not incredibly well. It is just lace.
How tall are you now?
Try to put mine on without taking my hood off.
A couple of the taller Luxons, there's one who looks like he has like giant's blood, kind of steps over in front of you as he's like cramming his over very tightly on his head. And yeah, they kind of like make a little human wall around you towards the back of the pack as you get your hood on as well.
Packed like a sausage.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody else, it comes over like the shoulders. His is like a necklace of just like frills. Entering the city of Canderville, the southwestern portion of the city has changed just enough to feel uncanny. You pass by the old mill where Cormac used to get flour for his Lochvarn apple cakes, the wind still turning the aged and patched paddles. The old butcher shop where the Fiskers would take a portion of their catch to be smoked has darkened windows, but the pinkened snow on the right side of the building as you pass by is still showing the morning's runoff from game prepared for sale.
Gross.
The faces you see, however, are unfamiliar to you, those that aren't veiled like your own, as many are. The streets themselves are quiet and practically empty compared to the bustling town that once thrived here on the coast, with just the occasional glimpse at a couple or a small family moving briskly through the chilled air. No one is idle everyone is who is out seems to have a destination in mind. Could I have each of you make a perception check? Don't forget you have disadvantage if you're wearing a veil.
8.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, 11.
3.
3. Excellent. Magnus. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's fitting that you're the one who notices this. You see that many of the homes in this area are iced over, with windows that are missing panes and icy rime crawling across the shingles and in the cracks of the stone. You also notice that almost every structure is nearly completely made of stone. There's very little wood anywhere to be seen. With your level of intelligence, you quickly put together that with Exardesca being considered, the Great Flame, and the cold winters here on Ilvermere, that's probably a hefty resource, is wood to burn to keep warm. Mm-hmm. And as you're stepping through, Alvir, kind of leading the pack with all of you adjacent to him, is talking, it doesn't seem like he's directing his words at anyone, but almost kind of to himself, but audibly for all of you to hear. Mm-hmm. It's just like, things have gotten worse in the Rookery. There's a lot more empty homes than last time we were here. I wonder if that's because of the executions or if the Fellmen are just having less success.
Well, either way.
It does seem like there's been an uptick of dreads lately outside the walls. Could be affecting the city just as much as it's been affecting us. He trails off before bringing a paug horn to his mouth, a cow pig, and sounding a soft bellow. And you see his people begin shuffling out of shacks and the woodwork, the stonework, and they look cold and tired, but you see some bright eyes on the faces that are uncovered as these people begin coming out of the homes and approaching. And Alvir walks over to the woolly tortoise-drawn cart and pulls down a slot on the side and begins handing out just bits of firewood to people. And they are thanking him profusely. He gets a lot of hugs. There's a young kid whose veil is kind of to the side, and Alvi kind of kneels down and straightens it for them and hands them a log of wood for rubbing the top of the hood, and they skitter off. And you notice that he's not collecting any payment from these people. He's just giving this away to them.
Did you say the cow pig was a paug?
Yeah.
He's cow in the middle.
Yeah.
The pig on the ends.
Yeah, it's a really big pig that has udders, and you know that they're mostly raised for obviously milk and meat, and it's got the best of both worlds.
Bacon and milk.
If you want beef, you go for a cow. Pork beef.
Beef, it's what's for breakfast.
Or should we go with bork?
Bork.
Bork is good.
We need to talk in the other room.
I mean, that's two different forms of meat from the same animal, right?
Mm-hmm. I think in some places, certain cuts are marbled.
Pagu? Is that what you're implying?
Yeah. But real Pagu beef only comes from the Pagu region of...
Otherwise, it's just
the Reedlands.
sparkling bork.
Yeah. So you guys entered from the...
Hold on. One more thing to clarify. Does it produce milk?
No, it's just milk.
Okay.
All mammals produce milk.
Fucking idiot.
Yeah, could we call it pilk?
You can call it pilk if you want. Pig milk,
I think it's too early.
cow milk.
It's too early for my brain to handle portmanteaus because I was like, piss milk?
So which... Oh, the main gate?
So
Or
you-
which gate did we come through?
You entered through that southwestern gate at the
Okay.
bottom there. As you entered that gate, you actually made your way around a large structure there. Thin trails of smoke coming out of it, and you could hear the heavy jostling of machinery inside. Albi would inform you that that's the main logging structure of Canderil. Owned by Helvig, Colborn Helvig.
Is this person...
One of the richest men in Canderil. Obviously, he owns the Fellman.
When you say owns the Fellman,
Yes, they do their prison service under his watchful eye.
gotcha. So he's a bad guy.
We'll just put slaver down here in the notes. Indentured servitude.
Still, if
They're doing their time for no pay. Eventually, led around the building, and you hand out to these people in the rookery, which is this tightly packed section of houses here on the west bank of Canderil. You continue along the road to a stone bridge that goes over the river that sort of bisects Canderil. There you notice that there are a lot more guards present and stationed, and as the Luxons approach, Alvi steps forward and has a few words with them before the cart is checked one more time, and you are led across the bridge into a much more vibrant part of town. You immediately notice that a lot of the buildings here are actually painted, and some of them actually have wooden structures remaining to them. You also notice that the people here are visibly plumper than those in the rookery were, and that there are much fewer guardsmen patrolling the area aside from the borders of the district as you enter Hearthvale. You can also see from here, as you're crossing the bridge, if you look southward, that the Jagged Crown has actually been extended on the opposite side of Canderil and fully encloses the town now. If there are still docks in that direction, they are outside of the city walls.
I see.
Continuing forward, a market has been set up just outside of what was once the beautiful museum that tantalized Magnus in his youth. The building has been restored and expanded. A great fire burns brightly in the highest tower of the building, lighting the space and bringing an almost unnatural warmth to the surrounding area. It's like physically more comfortable on this side of town than it was in the rookery. There are several market stalls that have been set up as the Luxons approach one that's a little tattered and worn, but they pull the cart into the back and pull the slats down on this side and kind of like pull them out on this mechanism that creates a little tabletop. And they begin unloading wares, furs, various meats from animals that have been trapped and hunted in their time outside the walls. And you notice that they do not set out any of the lumber. That was all given away in the rookery. Alvir turns to all of you and he's like, all right, well, we will be spending most of our day here in the market. If you would like, I do not know what your business is fully in Canderil, but look around, but use caution. Keep your veils on if you need them. We are welcome here as long as we continue to follow the rules.
Do you know who is in the museum over there? I point to the building that I know of as the museum.
Yeah. Oh, yes, the temple. That is where her
Christ.
brilliance resides.
Who? Who?
Right. Oh boy. Well, that's a inconvenience.
That's a nice way of putting it. Do you know anything of the items that were in the museum?
Not personally, no, but to my knowledge, nothing was removed during the renovations.
Great.
You wouldn't happen to remember Corbin?
I do. Yes, older gentleman. He was in the rookery last time we visited.
He's still alive?
Yes. Yes, he's quite aged, but still hanging on. He's still very vibrant last time I saw him. I hope he's okay.
Do you know where he is? Like, do you have his address? Or can you just, like, point me?
It would be back in the rookery where we came from. You would have to cross the bridge. I wouldn't recommend doing that on your own.
Oh, I see.
But we could stop by on our way out, if you prefer.
Definitely got to do that.
Certainly.
So are we just here for, like, the day and then we're leaving? Like, we don't
Yes.
say, okay.
We'll be here for about 5 hours, or until we run out of goods. And then I will track you down, we'll pack up and head back outside the walls. And you know that he brought including the 4 of you and himself. There are a total of 12 Luxons present in Canderil. There are still a good, probably like 10 to 15 that stayed behind at the new camp that they set up outside the walls, and that's kind of like the rendezvous point whenever they're done here.
Okay. We don't have a lot of time, and
I mean, anybody is allowed to go in the temple, right?
In the sanctuary, yes.
We could at least look around.
yeah. I mean, we could do that first. I was thinking we could sneak across the bridge and go try to talk to Corbin, but see if he knows what happened to the tablets.
I have a feeling they're probably still in there.
Probably. That would be our luck. Are you comfortable going in there?
I mean,
I'm not gonna send. I'm not saying we're sending you in like by yourself, but if we all go in, are you comfortable going in, or should we?
I'm unknown.
What do you think if she crosses the threshold, she's going to burst into flame?
I mean, I don't know how that works.
Portes. Alvina goes and starts selling things to people.
So probably that won't happen.
Hopefully.
Well,
But Mom would probably like that, so. It is kind of risky to get closer to where she is, but at the
Right.
same time, it's
she can't see me.
where we need to go to figure out what's going on with the tablet.
And what are the odds she's in there right now in the sanctuary?
100%.
All right, let's go. If we're gonna do it, we should do it.
You all approach the Temple of the Great Flame, and stepping up the same weathered, aged steps that you entered with your brother 15 years ago before everything changed. You step into a foyer that is vastly different from what you remember. To say this place was renovated is generous in how little it implies was changed. You see like entire walls have been taken out and areas have been opened up. There's this small foyer area where there are these rows of candles that are probably 5 deep and maybe 10 across. All of the candles are lit, and you see other people who have entered the temple will come in and stop before the candles and close their eyes and like bow their head for a moment before stepping forward and grabbing a small little stick of incense and lighting it with one of the candles before going through the doorway to the next space.
Do we follow suit?
That seems the smart thing to do.
Are there other people wearing the hoods in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking around at all of the changes, trying to get an idea of like where all the stuff that was here could have been moved to.
Make a perception check, I guess. Or investigation.
While he's doing
Yeah.
that, I'm gonna like grab Brothy and Saoirse's arms and like pull them over to the flames so that we could do the thing, so that we're like trying not to draw any attention.
Yeah, for sure.
So if it's investigation, that's a 26.
You see that there are still some scuff marks in the stone from... there's this moment of like entering a space that you're deeply familiar with, but it's changed so much. It's like going to a childhood home that like is now on its 3rd family past when you lived there. But it starts to come back to you of like, oh yeah, so this is the hallway and the display case was here. They have a sword, which means that around the corner through that doorway would be the stairs that led up to Corbin's office, the 2nd floor. On the opposite side of that, there's stairs that go down. That leads into the basement area, which seems like it would probably be a place that would be used for storage. But from this space alone, it's hard to gather where things that were moved, upwards of 15 years ago exist now. But you're getting more familiar with the space and kind of like remapping in your mind, like, okay, this is what it was, and now I see what has become of it. they knocked out a wall here and had to leave this pillar because that's weight bearing. And
Yes, this is a load-bearing structure.
yeah, as you all kind of bow your heads and light your incense and begin stepping through the doorway, you see the 2 staircases on either side. At the top of the stairs, you see there's a single guard posted who is wearing the same livery as all of the City Watch, which is just a red tabard with a golden symbol of fire emblazoned on it that has 3 little prongs of flame. They don't have the bardiche inside, but they do have these sort of long curved swords at their belts, and just seem to be kind of standing watch outside of these doors. I think, Magnus, on that roll, you look up and you see the guard at the top of the stairs. You look down the stairs, just kind of glancing as you're passing through this liminal space into the sanctuary itself. And you notice that there are 2 guards stationed at the bottom of the stairs to the basement area.
Suspicious.
Exactly. Before stepping into the sanctuary, where what was once sort of a showroom where some of the larger relics that had been found and statues of beings from the fables, there were these remnants of large metal pieces that probably held some sort of wooden structure together as joining pieces before, but the wood had long crumbled and eroded away. All of that is now gone, and the space is open with these large stained glass windows of red and yellow that just kind of feed the light into this space. Along each of the many pillars that reach up to the vaulted ceilings in this area are these torch sconces that are just flickering with light around you as you enter the holy space of Exardeska.
What do you think, Magnus?
I think that we should look in the basement, but there's 2 guards at the bottom of the stairs.
Is there any other way in that you can remember?
Not like a secret passage entrance into the basement or anything that I would know about.
Make a history check with advantage.
14.
You know that the basement area wasn't fully submerged. There is a little staircase that you go in to enter the first floor of the building. Mm-hmm. And you know that there were some little windows where if you were outside would be on the ground, but when you're in the basement would be at Corbin's eye level. Mm-hmm. If those are still present, you could maybe squeeze through there, but it would be a tight fit. Mm. And not being spotted doing so you'd have to be careful.
Yeah.
As you're considering this and speaking with your friends about wanting to go down and check out the basement, Saoirse, you are distracted as you notice that there are also a lot of pews filling this space. And as you've entered... there are a lot of citizens that are seated in the pews. And Saoirse, you're distracted because stepping out onto the dais platform at the far end of the room is a woman made of flame. And her hair is so long and wild that it's almost like a lion's mane that wreathes her head in light. And you see, for the first time in 15 years, your mother. Maeve has changed more than just in her physicality, obviously. You see that these stiff, rigid robes have given way to a more silky and flowing look that's sort of off the shoulder on both sides. There's a bright golden pendant that has these sort of wavy rays of sun that come out to points around her throat. And her eyes glow as just a brilliant orange as she steps out and up to this podium at the dais and holds out her arms and begins preaching the good word of Exardeska to a much more full sanctuary and rapt audience than she ever had when you were present. Do all of you stand here in the aisle, or do you find seats?
I think it would be smart to take seats.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, probably sit down in the back. You see a lot of the people in veils keep to the back rows, and you just sort of file in and disappear amongst them, just more veiled faces in the crowd. As she preaches the tenets of Exardeska and speaks of the great flame passing through the sky each day, and though its light wanes, it is brought upon us and her, the chosen of Exardeska, to continue the light ever burning in Exardeska's absence. And I think it didn't really register as you entered the town, because it was just another uncanny thing that was like, oh yeah, that's very similar to the last time we were here. But there were still some decorations out and about, and you realized, oh yeah, Emberlight is getting close. And you know that it is, predominantly practiced, a holiday practiced by those who follow the fables, but Exardeskans do also follow it for exactly the reasons that she's preaching. You realize this is like a holiday service that she's giving, talking about how, Emberlight is when Exardeska is furthest from us here on Ilvermere, but the Sparkwinds, the trail that Exardeska leaves to guide us to our afterlife, are brighter than ever. And, a lot of very posturing language of, I'm the chosen, and I will lead you, and I will guide you, and follow my light, and blah, 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 blah.
Of course.
You've all been to a church service at one point in your lives. I'm sure you know how it goes. I don't want to make myself do that.
It's cool. I watched Heretic the other night. I'm ready to get in that basement.
I don't think so. Maybe once.
Shall I relive my trauma for you?
No. It sounds mostly boring.
It is mostly boring. But you see that there's a bit of fervor as getting towards the end of this sermon. She stands a little taller and holds her hand out, and you see her hair burns a little brighter, almost white hot at the scalp, going out to oranges and yellows. As she parts her hands and stands. Now, all of you, follow me to the dais, as we shall make an example of those who have stepped into darkness.
Oh boy.
And she motions her hands forward, and you see the people in the front stand up and begin filing out. And it seems like there's a sort of an orderliness to this. Like, there are so many rules and traditions that are followed here that being an outsider at one of these services, it's like everybody read a handbook that you didn't get, and it's not in the back of the pews. There's like a book with songs in it.
Oh, like being in a church.
Yes. It's the thing I was gonna say is it's like Catholic meets Lutheran, where it's like there's a lot of like standing and kneeling and standing and then sitting and then kneeling again, and it's like nobody told me that this was how I haven't been here every day for the last 15 years. I didn't know all the steps. But as she begins stepping down the dais platform and down the middle aisle, you see the first row stands, and they fall in single file but two lines behind her. And each side of the sanctuary basically follows behind the one before it. So you all sit and wait and watch as everyone is exiting the space. Maeve walks right past her daughter with no sense that it is her, because of the rules that she has imparted, that vulgarities cover their faces in the city.
Are there any other fire genasi here?
Yes.
And they're open.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're like front row. Okay. And no veils. Yeah. Fire genasi are viewed as chosen of Exardeska. They are the chosen ones, and they're doing Exardeska's will. You see there's actually two of them in white robes that have this sort of like red, what would be a hood but without the hood, it's just kind of like over the shoulders, that were standing on either side of Maeve when she was giving her sermon. They're the first two, and they step forward and kind of like motion at the front row to follow them, and they step out right behind her. Eventually, we get to all of your turns. As you, if you wish, can stand and join. Make a quick luck check, one of you. We'll say you want a 12 or higher.
15.
15. Okay, so I'm going to say it's your choice. If you wish, you could be positioned in such a way that you would be the last four on either side to exit, so that if you wanted to hang back, you could, and not go see what she's leading them towards, if you wanted to instead try and get into the basement.
This would be our chance to get into the basement, but something tells me this is not good, whatever is happening.
Saunders' voice resonates in all of your minds. Almost feels a little, not distant, but like further away. That presence that you sense whenever he speaks, where you get like a direction, feels like it's coming from the foyer, as his voice just resonates, and you all hear, "The gods aren't moving."
Well, we would have to use your eminence and some luck and some charm if we were to do this now. But
Yeah.
it's a risk, or we can just
You could try
see
to
what's going on.
order the guards away, basically, right? If you showed them that you're made of flame.
Maybe I could make. I assume we're talking through Sonder to each other this way.
You cannot do that.
Oh,
Again, Sonder can only speak to you in your minds, and you
Right.
can speak
Yeah,
to
he
him
is
in
not
your minds.
a communication device.
Yeah.
he should be.
We can tell him to tell the other people.
Yeah. Maybe I could use magic to make you look just like your mother. Like I could create a silent image and just like move it along with you.
I mean, it seems like just
Be tricky.
being made of fire
Yeah.
is enough to do the trick.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering, does disguise self?
You can only cast it on yourself.
Right, but could I also make myself look like a genasi with it, or is that too far?
No, I don't
But
think
also,
so.
they wouldn't.
I think you would be a very large genasi.
I can make
And
myself
also-
seem 1 foot shorter. So
It's
I
true,
Could be
so you'd be very
6 foot.
tall, yeah.
They would know that she's here, though. We wouldn't want to look like her.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
So-
That's a good point.
Yes, they just watched her walk past.
Oh, I came back.
I left my service behind. It's fine.
My divination dice that I have, this is out of game, but the divination dice I have are really low, so I could make that their like perception checks or whatever
You
if
could.
we're trying to scam them.
You could.
I'm gonna try to.
Magnus did have a dream last night that
Yeah.
somebody was going to do something shitty today.
Yeah,
I
I had a dream we were going to scam some people.
We can try to order them off. Be ready to run though, because we're gonna have to get the hell out of this town.
I think we might have to split up, though.
Magnus, can I have you make a quick insight check? Actually, no, not Magnus. This would be... Actually, I'll ask you, Saoirse.
Oh,
How concerned are you with Alvy's well-being?
quite.
Quite? Okay, make a quick insight check. 4.
Son of a bitch.
Maeve said she was going outside with this crowd to make an example of someone who has walked in darkness. I think your mind instantly is like, she's going to do something to the Luxons right now.
All right, Magnus and I will attempt to get into the basement. You two go see what's going on there, and we'll be out as soon as possible.
I give a glove over to Magnus.
Okay.
You slide it on?
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes up to the elbow,
Nice.
but fits really well.
Formal.
It's this beautiful opera glove, and you notice that stitched into the palm is an eye. And silver.
I thought it was a snake.
That's on Onyx.
They're different but the same.
You think back to Granny Brynja's hand tattoos.
Mmm.
Great, now I have to get hand tattoos.
Fuck, that's right.
Okay, so Saoirse and Magnus are gonna go
Get a hand
to the basement, and Brody and
well-
Auric are heading outside. Okay.
We'll take care of it.
Be careful. But
Same.
Okay. So, Auric and Brody, you follow the crowd and step out the doors into the very temperate outside as you see a crowd has gathered down below the dais, and Maeve has stopped there and has actually turned around and has just like this warm smile as she is acknowledging each and every person who came to the service and is following her as they step past her, but she's staying up on the dais. You see a few people hold out their hands and kind of like shaking, and you see she'll like take them and shake them. One veiled person holds out a sort of greenish hand that is not gloved, and she does not shake it. And eventually each of you step past, and she kind of like nods and smiles warmly as you join the crowd at the bottom of the dais. Back inside, Magnus and Saoirse, what are the two of you going to do?
Okay, there's nobody left in the sanctuary.
No, I imagine you're kind of standing at the back of the sanctuary by the double doors that lead into that liminal space. So you don't have eyes on the guards from here, and you could speak quietly and they probably wouldn't hear you.
Okay, so you're in charge.
Great. Oh, that was all you had.
Yeah. But we'll tell them that we're going to do a quick inventory, or...
I've got it.
Okay, you got it.
I'm gonna go ahead and take off my veil here. Cram that in a pocket.
Okay.
Dust off any.
Prestidigitate.
Yeah, you prestidigitate and you like get some flakes of dried blood from yesterday's encounter out.
Alright. I'm gonna poke my head around, make sure that nobody wanders in at the last minute.
You poke your head around. You can see through the glass on the double doors to the entrance that Maeve is standing up atop the dais, maybe 10 feet out from the door, and once again is like arms spread and is addressing what you can see is quite a large crowd that has gathered in the square. And you can see, make a perception check actually.
13.
13. With disadvantage. Oh no, you took your veil
I
off.
took my veil off.
You see standing to either side of her, about maybe 10 feet away, are those other two fire genasi that were kind of like near her. You're not sure if these are just like acolytes or if they're like bodyguards. You can also see that there's kind of a ruckus happening in the crowd as it's beginning to like part. But you're like 90% sure that nobody's going to step up on that dais and in here for at least a second.
All right, shoulders back, head up, haughty.
Hottie. Made of fire.
The hottie.
All right,
There's a flare of flame at your hair.
let's go.
Okay.
And I will stride.
Yeah, to the
my way.
downstairs?
Yeah.
Okay. There are two guards standing there as you approach, and they both kind of like straighten up as you walk forward.
We've got inventory we need to take account of.
They kind of like look at each other. Just roll a d20. I'm going to tell you you want a high roll.
Okay, that was a 3.
Oh.
Which compared to 1?
They share that glance and look back at you. Now make a persuasion check with disadvantage because they don't recognize you. They recognize that you are a fire genasi, but they do not recognize who you are.
Is that what I'm... Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I thought that was even worse. Oh, wait, is it? What am I seeing here?
This is the worst from this side.
Yeah.
That is an 8.
Okay, the other die was a natural 20.
Oh.
Yeah. Are they both going to roll against that?
Oh, I said a DC.
Oh. Because I wanted to...
Was it 7?
I wanted to influence
Oh,
that.
I can roll for them. We can do that instead.
There's a nagging in the back of Arik's mind. I think we might have split the party wrong.
We did it completely wrong.
That was
I could have done that.
a 12.
It is 4.
4. What did you roll again?
8.
Okay. Meets it, beats it. They have +4 to their insight. The guards really only have 2 things going for them. It's perception and insight.
Why do I never beat it?
Yeah.
Why is it always that somebody else?
No guidance. Nobody.
I don't have that spell.
Nah, that's not a wizard thing. They... Meets it, beats it is very close. They share a glance, before one of them speaks up. I'm sorry, state your name and business here?
I've already told you our business here.
To take inventory.
Of course.
And what's your name? Sorry, I don't recognize you.
My
Bright one.
name is Nora Ashwood.
Make a deception check with advantage.
16.
He is nudged by the other guard, and you hear under his breath as he says, "Oh, I know she looked familiar." He's like, "My apologies. Your brilliance." And he turns and you hear the jingling of keys as the door clicks and opens. I will accompany you. Please follow me. And
You should both accompany us.
one of us has to stand and keep watch at the door in case anyone should try and break in. Her brilliance has made us very clear.
And she gave me orders as well.
Right. We shall both accompany you. And they step by. They look like they don't know. Obviously your authority is more than theirs, but it seems like they were given their direct orders from Maeve, so they're like, who's more
Calculations.
Forgive me, I did not know that you had returned. And he turns and opens the door, and the two guards lead you in. Meanwhile, outside. Emerging through the parting crowd are 5 guards with 3 prisoners. There's a young woman, maybe in her early 20s, with greenish skin and dark green horns that curve like a ram's horns. She has long, curly black hair. There's an older human man, maybe early 50s, with an eye patch that covers a still bleeding eye. He has dark black hair that's beginning to recede a bit at the hairline and is kind of brushed back. And finally, a much older man, maybe in his 80s, rail thin with papery skin that's bruised around the arms, and long, tight curls that jut from everywhere but the top of his head. He's got a very long beard that goes down about mid-chest. And you can see that his eyes are clouded over in milky blue, and he clearly can't see. I'm going to say, Brothy, you recognize immediately, though bowed from age and years of hardship, that's Corbin.
Okay.
Each of them have a look of defiance about them as they are marched forward. The 2 fire genasi on either side of Maeve step forward and present massive wooden stakes into slots in the ground and begin piling perfectly cut logs of bleach white wood around them. Maeve spreads her hands as the prisoners are brought forward. People of Candoril, children of the light, we are presented this day with thieves who would see themselves paired with the darkness. Vulgarities and sinners who would turn from the path of the righteous and bright to steal from the temple itself. And there's a gasp that ripples through the crowd. It is by the power of the great flame bestowed upon me by Exardeska herself that I shall cleanse these dark ones of their sins in her holy light. Prisoners are marched forward and begin to be affixed to the pyres. Meanwhile, in the basement...
God damn it.
Actually, before I cut back to you guys, I'll ask, is there any reaction that you have in this moment?
What do we do?
I have a plan. I don't know if I should act on it now or if we should see this other scene first.
Let's see the other scene. Right?
I think so. I think
You guys are over there with popcorn.
That was great.
Bye, Corbin.
You're old as hell anyway.
I can tell you right now, there is a pain in my chest as it's collapsing on itself. That's how upsetting this is.
Oh man, the moment you guys were like, let's split up, I was like, please do.
Oh, by all means, split the party. The cardinal rule of D&D.
Yeah.
Lead us to the tablets.
The tablet. Forgive me, Your Brilliance. Did your mother not inform you of... There was a break-in last night. The tablets were taken and have not yet been returned. We've captured those responsible, but they're still searching for the tablets. I believe the execution is supposed to start any moment now.
Gotcha.
Then any other teachings that may be available, lead us to those.
Right.
As they...
Make an insight check.
I think that's like a 9.
Stop rolling that!
I want that as well. 9.
9. 9 is enough that you see, just from that reaction alone, this guard doesn't seem super well versed in everything that's down here.
Sure, that's what I want.
Yeah, so if distraction is what you were aiming for, you've achieved it, because you're like, take us to other teachings, and he's like, yeah, I know what all this stuff is. Kind of like glances across the room, and you see his eyes like darting from item to item, like, which of these things could she be referring to?
Can I quietly lock the door?
Make a stealth check. This is going to be a difficulty. The doors are newly refurbished.
They're newly
This
refurbished.
is going to be a difficulty of 12 to do it silently.
15.
Very slowly, you turn the deadbolt in the door.
Can you put them to sleep?
Both of them? Or just this guy?
Both is ideal.
They'd have to be close.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Come back, both of you.
And you see, like, one of them has, like, some scrolls and papers that are, like, he's got, like, 2 scrolls in one arm and then, like, a stack of papers in one hand, and he's like, has markings on it.
I'll take that.
There you are.
I've been given a special prayer to give to you.
Oh.
I'm going to headbutt him.
Classic Saoirse.
I'm going to hit them with sleep after she does that.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll.
What? Am I proficient with my head?
I feel like at this point you have to be, right?
You've been doing it since you were a kid.
It's true.
I'm running on instinct. No. So that's strength plus proficiency,
Yes.
which is 2. Okay, so it's 9.
9. I'm gonna say with advantage because he didn't see this coming.
Yeah. That's better.
Okay. That is 15.
15. Yeah, I'm gonna say his chain shirt isn't gonna help him in this particular instance.
Right, it wouldn't.
So yeah.
That's not his head.
You lean back to give his message. As you kind of like lean back, he leans in.
Good.
Because he's like very reverent to you. And just kind of unconsciously, like you lean back, he leans in, and then whack right in his face. Roll a d4 and add your strength modifier.
6.
Yeah, you right in the face. You hear an audible snap of his nose
Oof.
as he reels back. You can actually see he's wearing like a helmet that has the sort of like nose guard that comes down and like wreaths around the eyes. But that bends, and you hear like his nose breaks, and that bends inward so that it cannot like rebound. And he screams. And Magnus, what does it look like as you cast sleep?
I'll try to cast it as quietly as I can, but it still generates a little.
Oh yeah.
What was the animal?
What are the sheep?
Sheep rats.
A
little
shats.
Yeah, so it fires off a shat that explodes into a bunch of shats that swirl around
bound
them.
around them. Go ahead and roll your d8. Come on, high numbers. Those are some pretty high numbers.
The total of 30 hit points. Put to sleep.
He gets headbutt. The nose guard holds his broken nose in place as it bends into his face. He gets off like a choked moment of a scream before shats erupt in his face, and both of them kind of just collapse into each other and then crumple to the floor, asleep.
It's time up.
Right.
I'm gonna tie them up.
Okay.
Go look as quickly as you can for whatever.
You pull out some rope, probably use one of your daggers to cut off a length of it as you bound and gag both of these guards. Magnus, what are you doing?
So while she's doing that, I'm going to cast Detect Magic so I can see like if anything's giving off a magical aura.
The room glows.
Oh shit.
There's a ton of shit. That's just, you recognize looking around that like all of the stuff that was in the museum is in this room. There's a few things that you don't see. You don't see the sword.
Shit.
And obviously you don't see the tablets.
What are the things that catch my eye that are magical in here?
One of the 3 scrolls that Saoirse had and has now kind of like dropped as she's tying up these men, one of the 3 is glowing. There's an oddly familiar looking jug on a pedestal.
Really?
Yeah. It's got like all of the pour spouts, but the make is different. It's like the pottery style is not exactly the same.
Is it
It's
like
a different
bigger
type
or
of-
smaller? Or
It's about the same size.
is it like this big? Is it like this big?
It's like urn sized.
Urn
Yeah,
sized.
maybe like a foot tall and 6 inches wide.
Can I send it through the glove?
No, that would be too big.
Okay. Damn.
You're just standing there. What the fuck? Mayonnaise.
It's just like his dream. That's everything. Just grab whatever can fit in your bag and let's go.
Grab that.
Yeah,
scroll.
that'll fit in your pouch for sure.
Grab that. Grab scroll.
Pick the scroll up off the ground.
If anything else looks magic, but I don't know what its purpose is, I might just grab it too if it's small.
As the room lights up with your detect magic and you see that there's hardly a thing in this room that isn't magical. You grab the scroll off the ground, you put the alchemy jug in your pack, and you reach out and just grab the nearest thing, roll a d6.
A 6.
A 6. You grab a satchel off of a table and sling it around yourself.
Ooh.
Nice.
Where are you headed?
Well, do we want to leave these guys just tied up?
I'm gonna drag them all the way to the back of the room.
Okay, yeah, you do. So there's like a back corner. Probably with Magnus's help, it doesn't take you too long to get both of them back there.
And I'm gonna cram their pockets with magical stuff.
Oh. Okay.
And I'm gonna untie them. I'm gonna ungag them.
Okay.
We're almost out of time, but we can get out before they wake up.
Yeah. Is there a time limit on?
It's 1 minute. We have 10
go.
rounds, so
Okay. You like cut the gags and make a quick luck check.
7.
Okay.
7's really lucky.
Let me.
That should be like the natural 20 at the luck roll.
13's the
We can
natural
discuss
one.
it for later.
There you go. Man, knocked it out of the park.
You cut the binds and pull the gags from the guards as one of them lets out a big snore. The other one lets out a burbly snore because his
Yeah.
mouth is filling with blood.
Things are bad.
You like flip him over on his side, stuff magic items into their pockets, and both of you like gather up all of the rope and head out. And we see as the two of you are quietly, like just the scuffing of boots back towards the door as the camera pans down, and we just see one little sliver of cut rope left on the floor next to them. As the door closes behind you, you put your veil back on.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Because we're about to go outside.
Okay. You step up the stairs. That's a pretty high roll.
If it's someone trying to spot us, maybe it wasn't such a high roll.
I'll tell you what I rolled, and you can tell me what you want to add to it. I rolled an 18 on the die.
Who rolled it?
I'm not going to tell you that.
You're gonna swap it for something low, and it was Corbin's.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Without knowing, it's too risky. I'm not going to change it.
Okay. You just notice as you're coming up the stairs and Saoirse puts the veil on, you see the guard standing at the top of the stairs by that door, and he kind of like cocks his head as you two quickly take a left. And if you go out the front doors, you're going to step out right behind Maeve.
What now?
Could make a distraction? Is
Excuse
there
me.
another way out?
You turn around and you see the guard that was at the top of the stairs is now standing in the doorway behind you. Supposed to be 2 men on watch down there. What happened?
They are searching for something for me.
And who are you?
I'm Nora Ashwood.
And I'm the Queen of Caldronmore. Take off your veil. You do so. Make a persuasion check, or make a deception check with advantage.
Got this.
Difficulty is 15.
9 is what I rolled.
You remove the veil and kind of like shake out your flaming hair, and there's a moment where he kind of like begins to almost like get down on one knee before you see his eyes narrow, and he glances back and forth between the two of you.
If you don't believe us, they're in there looking for stuff right now.
He looks down at your bulging pouch, Magnus, and slowly draws his short sword, takes a readied stance with his blade up. Meanwhile, outside, you see as Corbin and the young girl and the middle-aged gentleman are affixed to their pyre stakes. Each of them have their hands tied behind their backs and stand looking in defiance out over the crowd. Even Corbin's sightless eyes are fixed outward and his chin is up.
How far away is Corbin? Is he like 30 feet less from where we're standing?
From you guys? You guys are like in the front row because you were the last ones out
Okay.
of the temple. So you're like right at the base of the steps to the dais. He's maybe 10, 15 feet away from you.
Okay. I got an initiative. I'm gonna cast Bless on Brothy, Corbin, and me.
Okay.
We can roll a d4 and add it to a number if there's an attack roll or saving throw. So that's just a precaution. Are there, I'm gonna guess there's like probably guards with torches or something?
Yeah. There's also, there's like torches all over the space that are just like freestanding.
Okay. I'm going to cast Thaumaturgy.
Okay.
Brothy's gonna feel like some like static energy or something. You feel me kind of stiffen and like the static energy building up. All of the fires are going to flicker and dim, and there's going to be sound of ominous whispers, as if there's like a hush that has filled the air. And I want to see what Maeve does at that point.
Like that. Make an intimidation check.
It's an 11.
The whispers wind through the air around you as the flames flicker and dim in the space. And there's a moment where you see Maeve's eyes kind of narrow before she straightens her back, and you see as she kind of knits her brow and the flames flare to life. You almost feel this sensation of like pushing on your mind. It almost feels like physically you've like stepped forward into a wall as the flames burst alight. Maeve outstretches her hands and she says, "You see, the darkness still follows them to the stage, but by the power granted to me by the great flame, I shall not allow it." And she reaches out a hand, and you see this small trill of fire just kind of through the air to the far right pyre and lights the wood at the base of the middle-aged man, who he begins struggling as that fire catches.
Okay. Still using Thaumaturgy, I'm going to make a large, a sonorous, resounding voice that comes from the sky that says,
"Eminence Maid Ashwood, halt your hand. Save these people and be your most pious followers."
I'm going to ask you for 2 rolls here. One is going to inform the other. First, I'm going to ask you to make a stealth check to see if you can do all of this in the front row without anyone noticing that you are casting spells. Depending on how that goes, I'm then going to have you make a deception check. It'll either be a straight roll or it'll be a roll with disadvantage.
so for the stealth roll, do I get any benefits of wearing that veil? So nobody's going to be seeing my face or my mouth moving or anything like that.
The components for thaumaturgy are only verbal. I'll say, I'm not going to say you have advantage on your stealth check because that feels like a lot, but I will say you can add 2 on top of your modifier.
12 on the die. plus 4 is 16 on
Okay.
stealth.
16 is great. So you will not have disadvantage on this deception check.
So this is flat for deception. It's a 12.
I'm going to roll on the tray of fate.
Oh, shit.
Are we close enough that I can see that that's going on outside?
Magnus, you can make a perception check with disadvantage because you're kind of having a situation of your own.
Oh yeah,
at the moment.
for sure. Oh, not good.
Oy.
There's a 1 in play here, so.
Okay. I'm gonna say no. Your full focus is on the
yeah.
guard in front of you. Who you've in this moment as this is happening, you maybe hear like a rumbling from outside, but you've also just been made. So
Yeah.
you're like, is that a thing I'm hearing, or am I just gonna shit myself? I'm going to make a roll in the tray of fate with advantage.
Why?
Because you are not the only one who has access to the thaumaturgy cantrip. This is an insight check.
Roll bad, roll bad, roll bad, roll bad.
Maeve gets +4 to this roll. She needs to roll an 8 or lower twice.
Sneak eyes.
First roll is an 11.
Oh, shit.
Let's just make sure she doesn't crit. 10 for the second.
I said sneak eyes, but not on the same dice.
For a total of 15.
This is your fault.
The voice begins speaking
Eminence may
and gets partway through your message before there's a rumble of thunder, and it is garbled, and another voice begins speaking over it, deeper and honestly louder, which is a little alarming to you. And it sounds as though it is emanating from the flame atop the cathedral itself as it rings out.
The thieves before you have stolen from our temple. Light the fires.
And
I'm gonna cast Charm Person.
On whomst?
okay,
On her.
on Maeve. What type of saving throw is this?
So nervous. Wisdom save 13.
Sam, you can test. It's a natural 20.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Opposite of that is the 1.
And so she knows I did it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit.
Her eyes lock down to your position. The flames are beginning to spread across the fire as the gentleman who is tied to the pyre is, you can see he's straining his abs for all that they are worth, trying to like lift his legs up, but his legs are also tied to the stake as the fire is beginning to lick at his boots. She whips another hand, doesn't break eye contact with you, whips another hand out to the girl and lights that pyre as well.
Your daughter's here.
As you call this out, we cut back inside. We cut back inside the temple, feet away from where all of this is happening. The guard pulls out his sword and levels it at each of you.
Whoa, that's extreme.
Turn out your bag.
No.
Look at the position that you're in. Her brilliance is just behind you out the door. All I need to do is get past you and alert her that there are more thieves in our midst, and you'll be burning just like those outside.
Yeah, that's really too bad. Could I kick him in the chest?
Make an attack roll. Magnus, you make a quick insight check.
Is there a cosmic joke being played on
We're
me?
fumbling our way through this.
That's a... Why are we here together?
We should have done this differently.
I mean, the reasons that we did it the way that we did it
Yeah.
make sense.
Yeah.
I won't tell you what's on the die, but it's a 6.
Oh, I saw your natural one. As he says this,
7.
you think to yourself, just like, those on the pyre outside. Oh shit, probably the Luxons.
7.
7? 7 does not hit as you... What did you try to do?
I was
Headbutt
trying to
again?
kick him in the chest.
Oh, right. You got to Sparta kick this dude in the chest. He sidesteps, and I think we're going to have to roll initiative. For now, just the three of us. This will be Magnus, Saoirse, and myself.
Oh, okay. 20.
Oh, that's great.
Now we roll like it matters.
9.
Saoirse, you used your action to attack. You've got bonus action movement. You're first up in initiative.
Bonus action. Compelled duel.
Ooh.
I need him to make a wisdom saving throw.
That's only an 8.
Yeah, so
Can you read me the verbiage of
Yeah,
Compelled
yeah.
Duel, please?
one creature that you can see within range must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature is drawn to you, compelled by your divine command. For the duration, it has disadvantage on attack rolls against creatures other than you and must make a wisdom saving throw each time it attempts to move to a space that is more than 30 feet away from you. If it succeeds on the saving throw, the spell doesn't restrict the target's movement for that turn. The spell ends if I attack any other creature, if I cast a spell that targets a hostile creature other than the target, if a creature friendly to you damages the target or casts a harmful spell on it, or if you end your turn more than 30 feet away from the target.
Okay, excellent.
And I'll say to him, let's focus.
You do so. There's this flash of fire in your eyes that is mirrored in his. And it's just like this little glowing ember that stays there as his focus is on you. Does that end your turn?
I'm gonna dart 15 feet back towards the sanctuary.
Okay, you would have to go. He's standing in the doorway to the sanctuary.
Oh.
So,
Then I'm gonna scoot back towards the basement.
okay. So, like, you're like going down the steps?
Yeah.
Okay.
Magnus, go find out what's happening outside.
Okay. All right.
You got this?
Probably.
Why? No. You come to us.
Okay.
Well, I don't want him to go out there.
On the guard.
I don't know what you just did.
This guard, who's a human man, he reaches down into a pouch at his side and pulls out this little vial, and he's going to throw it down the stairs at you. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
What's that about?
Alchemy 5.
Okay. I'm losing my fucking mind. 5.
5? 5 fails.
Does that need to go
Your
to dice
daughter's
jail?
here, and she
They
said in
all
the
need to
basement.
go in the dice jail.
You take 4 points of fire damage, half to 2 because you're resistant.
Yeah.
But you are burning. So at the start of each of your turns, you will take 1d4 fire damage, unless you use your action to extinguish the fire on yourself.
All right.
Or you can go prone and roll on the ground.
Okay.
That will also put it out. He throws the fire down at you. There's this shattering of glass and then an eruption of flame as your cloak catches fire.
Sure.
And it has this almost like greenish hue to it, as it doesn't hurt you as much as it would hurt a normal person, but it does still burn.
Okay.
I think I'm going to make him do another wisdom saving throw.
Sure.
It's within the rules that he could do this, but I don't want to be shitty about it. That's only 7.
So he can't move that far away.
No. My thought process here is because you went down the stairs, he
I'm
doesn't...
going 15 feet.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to... And this is only like a 10-foot foyer. It's not like a super long room.
Yeah.
He could theoretically get out the door in this turn, but that would take him out of line of sight with you.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Compelled Duel would... Like, I feel
think
like...
the idea is that I've convinced him to focus over here.
Exactly. But he is going to go as far as his movement will allow him while keeping you in visible range. So he's going to be stepping slowly towards the door, but he's still like sword in hand, warily, and realizing that you're not going to be as hurt by the fire as he hoped. He should have known that.
Yeah,
But,
it was a silly thing of him to do.
but he's still at the ready. That's going to be Magnus.
Prestidigitation lets you instantly light or snuff out a candle, torch, or small campfire. Could I use that to snuff out the fire?
Yeah, you can use your action to do that if you want.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'll do that.
In the worst case, I was just going to grapple that guy in a second. Now we're both on fire.
On fire. Out.
And then I'll run out past the guard. Hopefully he won't try to opportunity attack me.
Outside?
Well, she said to go see what's happening.
Yeah. You. I'm
gonna peek, and get a good look at what's happening.
Okay, yeah, you peek out the door. You see there are 3 pyres set up. You instantly recognize even from behind that Corbin is on the central one, which is not lit yet. But you see that there's a young girl you don't recognize and an older gentleman who looks related to her on the other. That man is starting to burn. The girl will be burning soon, and you would guess that Corbin is about to be lit. There's an audience of probably 50 people gathered around the dais watching this happen. There are shocked looks on their faces. You actually see there's been such a stir that some people are actually have fallen down to their knees hearing the voice of their god.
2 gods arguing.
Standing on the dais there directly before you is Maeve with her arms outspread, and she has just begun lighting these platforms.
How far away from me is Maeve, and how far away are those pyres that these people are on?
Maeve
Stakes or whatever.
Maeve is about 15 feet from you. The pyres are 20. It's not a super huge dais.
Is there anything I can be doing simultaneously while he's doing this?
I'm going to say each of you can go ahead and roll initiative to join the fun, and I'm going to roll for Maeve.
I can't do it on this turn because I already used my action, but I can.
Why is initiative every time?
I can try to use Mage Hand to untie the people who are on the stakes.
Can you do that as a wizard, or do you have to be a rogue to be able to interact with objects like that?
Like untie
Because
things?
those are technically worn.
5.
Those are technically worn objects since they are tied to a person.
It says you can use your action to control the hand. You can use the hand to manipulate an object, open an unlocked door or container, stow or retrieve an item from an open container, or pour the contents out of a vial. You can move the hand up to 30 feet each time you use it.
5 pounds strength or something, right?
You can't attack, activate magic items, or carry more than 10 pounds.
Okay, yeah, I'd say you could start using it to work on one hand untying a knot.
I would hope it would just be like one of those where, like a sheep shank or something. Where
Why
you
would
just
it-
like?
Why would it be
When
like
they're
that?
tied to a...
I said I would hope, not expect.
It's like, here's a knot you can get out of on your own.
If you can get your hand to bend like this and pull that, you're free. It is next on Jessica's wheel.
I guess I could just magic missile all of the ropes.
That's also an option.
I
Just
could
do
hit all
some-
3 of them at once.
Yeah, do some instant force damage. You could get. So technically there are 6 targets because there's hands and feet bound.
Oh.
But you could get all 3 in one go. But you've already used your action on this turn. To
Yeah, I
request
can't do it right
special
now, for sure, yeah.
Initiative.
17.
17. Arik. And Brody?
5.
All right. Yeah, Brody, you've just called out. I think actually, Magnus, you peek your head out and you hear your brother's voice say, "Your daughter's here," and then and then you see the fires going. Excellent.
Would I be
one more
able to
roll.
relay that information? Maybe I shouldn't relay that during the. Well, she's going to take out this guard anyway. They're burning people at the stake.
You can call that out if you'd like. You peek your head out, take all this
Yeah.
information in, close the door, call back
They're
over.
burning people at the stake.
Real casual.
Also, Brody outed you.
Bitch.
The fire lights again. Excellent. Does that end your turn, Magnus?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Brody,
Yeah.
outside, make a quick perception check.
Terrible. Better. I think it's only +1. 15?
You see the door behind Maeve creaks open as Magnus sticks his head out, sees all of this, and then closes the door.
Wait, did you not magic missile it?
Not yet.
He didn't have his action.
Oh.
Now it's your turn.
Even though I rolled a 2 on the initiative?
Yeah,
Or
I'm
5?
still just going
Okay.
down. You're at the bottom, but we've reached the bottom after Magnus. Basically, bridging that gap between the 2 spaces has combined this into a single combat now.
As a free action, say, if they start to swarm us, get away from me. And then I'll look around. What is going on? Are
People in the crowd. Maeve is still staring at you. She's just lit the girl's pyre, and her hand is, like, in this moment, it's like slow motion, her hand is moving towards Corbin's to light it aflame as well.
So she didn't react at all to that? The shout of her daughter's here?
Not yet. Like, her eyes are going wide, but she was already, like, she was basically doing, like, a 1, 2, 3, lighting these people up. As you've called this out, she's, like, in this moment in initiative, it's not her turn yet. She hasn't had time to react.
Are we off to the side a little bit?
Yeah.
Or, okay, I'm gonna walk.
I imagine you guys, the two of you are kind of, like, down and to the right. If we're on the stage seeing what Magnus saw, you see, like, Maeve, 2 guards, pyres, and you guys are kind of over here.
Gonna walk to the center, but still towards the crowd, like with my back to the crowd. Maeve, your daughter's here with us. We came here to find this man. He's an old friend.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Cool. My palms are sweating, y'all.
I'm also quite tense.
They both say the same thing.
And it's 20.
That would be 8.
You call this out at the top of the round. Maeve, her hand moves forward. She looks, still eye contact with you, Brody, as you say this. Make an insight check out of turn. Call this a DC 12.
12.
Beats it. There's a brief, not even just like in her face, but there's like a brief flicker in her hair, like almost like the wind kicks up, but it hasn't. Before that same steady burning returns, and she just says, "My daughters are dead," and lights the middle pyre. That's her turn.
Okay, so that was a lie.
She doesn't know that you guys are alive.
To hold an action, it still spends a spell slot if you don't do it, right?
Right.
Okay, I don't want to do that.
Saoirse, back inside. You're down the temple stairs. There's a soft magical moan, and the flames on you are put out.
I almost forgot we had moved to the moan from the part.
And the guard is at the top of the stairs looking down at you.
I'm gonna huck a light hammer at his knees.
Okay. Do you want to make that a called shot?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So that's going to add... Knees are a small target, but there's 2 of them. So I'll just say that's going to be the equivalent of half cover, so he'll have a +2 bonus to his armor class.
Okay.
And if you hit, I'll let you know what happens.
Not great.
8.
8 does not hit. You,
Yeah, why would it? That's a stupid number to roll.
You throw your hammer, and he actually just like does like a little hop, and the hammer passes under him. Like it was on target, but he leaps out of the way.
And he goes, woohoo!
Mamma mia.
Fighting Mario.
He threw fire. He stopping over your hammer attacks.
He's
If you have, he's about to go to that woolly tortoise pulling the cart and stop it.
And kick the shell at us.
Is he blocking the stairs?
No.
Okay, then I'm just gonna get on the other side of him.
Yeah,
Me.
you rush up and loop around him.
Yeah.
He follows you all the way, and that's your turn.
Am I allowed to make offhand attacks?
Yeah. Do you have any light hammers left?
Yes, I have one.
Then yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just whack him with my light hammer real fast.
Yeah, go for it. No proficiency on this roll.
Yes. Hey! That is a 20, 21, 22
Yeah, that hits for sure.
to hit. That is 5 points of damage.
Oh.
Is he dead?
No.
And I'm gonna push him down the stairs. Because I have the crusher feet. So I can push him 5 feet.
Oh.
Shit, yeah, you can do that.
And if I'm lucky, he's gonna block that door down there.
I'm gonna make an acrobatics check. I'm gonna call it a DC 10 for him to catch himself and not tumble down the stairs.
Can you please roll low once?
15.
See, I had this dream though that he did fall down the stairs. So he rolled 5.
Oh shit,
Yes.
that's only a 6. So you hit him across the jaw with the hammer, and there's this moment. I like to think it's not even like the crusher feat of like you hit him and then he's like thrown back. You hit him across the jaw, and there's this moment where he's dazed, where like he was eyes on you, and now suddenly he's looking at the ceiling and falling down the stairs. He takes another point of bludgeoning damage as he goes. You just hear as he falls down the stairs and hits the door and is prone at the bottom of the stairs.
Great.
That's Saoirse's turn.
I'm gonna pick up the light hammer that I threw at him,
Mm-hmm.
because canonically he jumped over it.
Yeah.
So it's somewhere at the top of the stairs here.
Ooh, make me a quick luck check.
15.
15 is good. It is there. You pick it up.
Great.
If you had
Hammer's
rolled,
caught fire and does double damage.
if you had rolled a 5 or lower, that hammer went out and like through the glass of the door. But it didn't. It was right where you left it.
I see Magnus still in this room. What is...
Oh, there's an execution going on, and Corbin. Did I recognize Corbin?
You recognize Corbin.
Corbin's about to be executed, which is terrible. Your mom's doing it, and Brody just shouted out that her daughter is here.
Is there something wrong with him?
I mean, he has a sword made of bone, and I don't know if that speaks to a malady more than unusual choices.
All right, let's go. Open the door.
Okay.
Jig is up.
You open the door. Uruxovir, on your turn. Broly steps forward, tries to convince Maeve that you guys that her daughter is here and that you guys need to help Corbin because you need his help and he's a friend, which is all true. The door opens and Saoirse steps out with Magnus by her side. And it's your turn.
Oh, I haven't emerged yet. I was
Okay. You let Saoirse go alone?
well, I will. It's just not my turn yet. And I was thinking of maybe hucking a flame bolt at that guy on the bottom of the stairs before coming out.
Oh, good call.
Oh, nice.
Finish him off
But-
if I can.
People are tied up. But people are tied up.
Right. Oh yeah, I have to do a different thing.
How long does it take to beat this thing?
Like one guard compared to like 3 burning people, whatever.
Yeah.
Uruxovir, you see Saoirse step outside by herself.
Why are you doing this to us?
Technically, we're kind of doing it.
You
to
did
each
this
other.
to yourselves. Sometimes you present your players with, do you go do this thing? Or do you go do this thing? And sometimes your players are like, we'll do both at the same time.
And somehow it would have worked out so much better if we had switched party.
I don't know, things were going great inside so far.
Yeah.
To be fair, the outside situation is much more complicated than
Yeah.
3 guards.
So she has shown herself. All right, that's one idea at the window.
I'll say this. I don't want to inform what you're doing. The gentleman with the eye patch, his fire is getting too out of control to handle with just like your thaumaturgy. By the end of this next round, the girls will be in the same place. Corbin's is low enough that if you wished, you could put it out with thaumaturgy. But you don't have to do any of those things. There will be another round before Corbin's is getting out of control. But you've also got all these other people here, and they can put out fires too. So do whatever you need to do.
I don't think I can.
I can't. Can't do shit.
It doesn't have to be magic. You can put out fire in different ways.
Oh, perhaps.
Create or destroy water. So water can fall in a 30-foot cube within range, extinguishing exposed flames in the area. So
30-foot cube.
yes.
Damn.
Not to quote myself from that commercial we made, but that it's all of them. Shit, yeah. What does it look like? As
She gets doused too.
Does it also hit me?
yeah,
Nice.
it'll coat the whole dais.
Wow.
What does it look like as Uruxovir summons this massive gout of water above the platform?
I think that static feeling pulses and gets very strong, and then it's almost like you hear a crack of lightning above, and then it just goes.
Hell yeah. Just a gout rushes, covers completely the dais, puts out all of the fires, all of the torches. You even see as Maeve dims for a moment, and her very like sheer silky robes are kind of like sticking to the curves of her body, and as well as those of the guards beside her.
Am I attracted to Maeve?
I mean, she's kind of hot in a scary way.
Yeah.
Hot MILFs in your area trying to execute people.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what's happening.
It's always happening.
Always happening. MILFs in my area are always trying to execute people. She... Her light dims before flaring back, and you see steam now rising off of her. All of the fires go out. All of the wood of the pyres is soaked. The water rushes down the stairs of the dais and begins getting people's boots wet in the crowd as it's rushing past. Like, at this point, you hear people gasping. Some people who were kneeling are, like, getting wet at the knees, and they're unsure. You can see a lot of people having their faith tested in this moment.
Sick.
Some people are fleeing from the area.
They should.
There's also, I'll say, all of you probably noticed this, because the market was right outside of this area. The Luxons had come over to witness what was going on, and you can see now at the back of the crowd, Alvi is like pushing through. You see he's already got his bow summoned to his hand, and is like pulling his veil off so he can see better, and is like pushing through the crowd. The guard at the bottom of the stairs is going to stand up, using half his movement.
You know, somehow in the back of my mind, I was like, and he's gonna stay there. I can move on.
There was a chance that he could have died from the fall, but I rolled a 1 on 86. He stands up, using half of his movement, kind of like the steps in the wall to steady himself, and he's going to use the rest of his 15 feet to get up to the top of the steps, technically 5 feet out from them.
Is he moving through my space?
He's moving towards your space.
Okay.
I think 15 feet is enough for how small of an area this is that he can get up the stairs, and he's going to slash at you, Magnus.
At me?
Yeah. You're party
get
to
less.
The
this.
only one in the room.
Yeah.
Isn't there still a compelled duel?
Oh, he needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Am I more than 30 feet away?
No, because you're just stepping outside the door.
Rad.
Again, this is like a 10-foot foyer.
Hell yeah.
He doesn't have to roll a wisdom saving throw.
Right, that's sanctuary.
He just has disadvantage.
Okay, so 18 for the first roll. 16 for the second, for a total of 19.
Y'all, my AC ain't that good.
You take 6 points of slashing damage.
Ow!
Are you down?
No.
As he slashes across your chest, and he's just like, out of my way. Magnus, make a quick luck check for me. You want an 11 or higher.
14.
14? Great. You manage to maneuver yourself so that when he slashes across your chest, he does not cut the strap of your bag.
I'd have been really disappointed.
Outside, Alvir has summoned his bow. He's going to knock an arrow and fire at Maeve.
Oh no.
Well, we're in it now.
A single arrow whizzes through the air and sticks into Maeve's shoulder. She grunts and angrily reaches up to grab it, and as she does, grabbing the shaft of the arrow just burns it away. The arrowhead is still in there, but there's not a huge shaft sticking out. It's just a little, it's not something that she's gonna
He shafted my mom?
He did. It's not something that she's gonna turn and catch on things and hurt herself. She was just basically getting the length of it down so that it's just a little bit sticking out. You don't want to pull that out anyway. That's dangerous.
Yeah, you want to
Blood
push it
loss.
through, but she can't.
Well, you want to leave it in until a doctor can look at it. Anyway,
Yep.
she takes that hit from the arrow, burns away the shaft of it. Alvi is going to fire that shot and turn to the crowd, and he says, Look at your false idol. She is not the great flame. She is just a figurehead who has taken power. It is time, people of Glomshore, to rise up and take back your city.
Well, here we go. Revolution.
And that's going to bring us to Magnus inside.
Oh boy. Okay, so do I have a clear view of both this guard who just slashed me and Maeve by any chance?
No.
Okay.
These are auto closing doors. Unfortunately, they're weighted. Now you could, if you wanted to back up and open the door, you could, be on a swivel and get both of them. But you would take an attack of opportunity.
I'm gonna have to use my last spell slot.
Do it.
Get this guy off my ass. He might drop me otherwise. I only got one more slash left in me.
Yeah, do it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna. How does he look, injury-wise?
He looks rough. He's been hit in the chin with a hammer. His jaw's definitely broken. And then he fell down the stairs and, definitely took some cuts on the sharp edges of the stone steps and then probably got a concussion hitting his head on the door. He's not looking good.
I can't risk missing him. So I'm just going to hit him with Magic Missile.
Okay, all three?
Yeah.
Excellent. Go ahead and roll your damage.
7, 10 damage.
What does it look like as a man is obliterated by your force missiles? Also, probably the first time that Magnus has taken a human life.
That is true. Oh, this is heavy.
It's been all monsters up till this point.
Yeah.
Now it's a different kind of monster.
Man.
Since it's force damage,
First blood.
I like to think that it turns him into a pink mist.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
When the
boy.
the magical
Just-
daggers that are the magic missiles bury into him and just kind of explode him.
Yeah, there's that manga frame panel of him looking surprised, but there's just giant gaping holes. He becomes mist, and just his arms and legs fall to the ground, basically.
Do you think that this was a reaction on Magnus's part from being slashed, or do you think this was a conscious thing that Magnus
yeah.
made a choice about?
Well, Magnus was definitely scared in this moment because he did just get slashed, and he's kind of by himself with this guy who seems to be intent on killing him. So it was just kind of a...
I think this is reactionary, falling into what you're trained to do, which is cast these spells. This is just the first time that it happens to be against another living, breathing person.
Yeah, a sentient being.
Not a vulgarity or a dread.
Yikes.
You would think I'm the one out there trying to calm things down.
Yeah, right.
Here first guy.
Guys, everybody relax.
Am I misted with blood from that?
No, I think it actually sprays against the back wall.
Oh, okay.
It's out and away from you. But you are bleeding from your ribs where he slashed you.
I'm taking... Well... I don't know if I would immediately leave or if I have to deal with that for a second before...
Make a wisdom saving throw. I'm going to let you set the DC. What number do you think Magnus would have to meet to just let adrenaline take over in this moment?
Probably a 15.
Perfect. That's what I was thinking too.
Not great. A 9.
Yeah, I think the rest of your movement is spent looking at the pieces.
Yeah.
I'm going to have one of you roll a D8. I'm going to have Brothy do it.
Is that a 6 or a 9? I think that's
A 6, because it's a D8.
Oh, yeah. I feel so dumb. It's why is there not a line under it? Because it can't get to 9.
6 veiled figures in the crowd remove their veils, and you see a man made of stone. You see a woman who looks similarly made of wood, like Alvi. You see a horned figure. They remove their veils and step forward. They rush up to the dais and begin untying the prisoners that are set up there.
Hell yeah.
A number of other people begin to flee in the crowd, and you hear behind you and next to you, Brody and Arik, several sounds of blades being drawn and weapons being ready. You hear, probably peering around, you see one person is stepping forward with a woodcutter's axe. One person has a pitchfork. These are not armed guards. These are citizens who have armed themselves.
Sick.
Who are fed up with the oppression and are seeing their moment and seizing it. The two genasi on either side of Maeve step forward and begin shooting balls of fire at the people untying the ropes. 13 and a 15 are both going to hit. 2 of those 8 people are hit with flame and fall and roll down the steps and are not moving. Those two start to step forward. That's going to be Brovi.
Are you outside now?
Yep.
Saoirse has stepped out of the doorway and is standing behind Maeve, but Maeve has not seen her yet. Hasn't like turned around.
She's literally right behind you. Fuck.
Make a persuasion check. Just a straight roll.
22.
Against her better judgment, she falls for the look behind you trick. And
She would kind of sense
Yeah.
things behind her, right?
yeah, she would definitely hear the door
Yeah.
having opened. I'll say on your turn, what happens is she starts looking over her shoulder.
What's the deal with the other people that are attacking?
The two fire genasi on either side of her have stepped forward and started producing
Okay.
flame and throwing it at
The
citizens.
the other people in the crowd are not like they're.
They take out the two of the 8 people who are untying the binds, but then you see they just start throwing fire into the crowd. Like there's clearly a shift that's happening right now, and there are certainly more of them. There are more of you than there are of them. There are 3 people up on this dais, and loyal followers of Exardeska whose faith have not been shaken. They're not taking up arms. A lot of them are running. They've got wealth to protect in the city. A lot of people who came here from the Rookery and kind of do so just because they have to, or because they're afraid, have been emboldened. They've seen that she does bleed, and they'd like to make her bleed more. And so they're just crowd control. They're throwing flames at anyone approaching the dais.
Cool. I'm gonna draw my sword and kind of get up to one of them.
Yeah, easily.
All right, I'm going to cast Hex on one of them,
Yeah, there's that spray of blood from him that just kind of like sizzles on one of them.
and then attack.
Go for it.
12.
Oh, are you still blessed?
Oh yeah.
You are, so you got a D4.
blessed.
16.
16 exactly hits.
Fuck yeah. 12 damage.
What does it look like when you kill this guard?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh shit.
Just gonna slice like up into the chest, and I feel like, what does their blood look like? Does it look like blood?
I think it's orange and kind of like glows a little bit.
Like I think we described it like a glow stick.
Yeah.
I like to think that it's a little more viscous than that. It's almost like, visually, it's like magma without the hardened parts.
I'll say I do a strike through the throat, and then start to spray out, and then get absorbed
Yeah.
into the sword.
Yeah, in your mind you hear Sandra goes, spicy.
Diablo sauce.
And that'll be my turn.
Excellent. Back at the top of the round.
Hey, we killed people.
Nice. Is this like the Sonder Hot Ones episode? Is he just like feasting?
Not
on-
too bad. And then
Fire
hers is like,
genasi.
ooh.
Gets to Maeve. She's like the last stab.
At the top of the round, there's the resounding of a bell.
Oh.
And then again. You can see, even in all of this ruckus, people are being slashed and burned, and combat has erupted on the steps of the Temple of the Great Flame. Everyone stops for a moment after the first tolling of the bell. And then there's another toll. And then a third. Eyes widen. I don't think you guys would be in the know, but people start screaming. That's going to be Maeve's turn. Turns around. And at the moment that she makes eye contact with Saoirse, the bell tolls. I think there's a moment where everyone else is frozen, waiting to see if there's going to be more. And she's frozen in that same moment, staring at someone she thought she had lost. I'm going to make a wisdom saving throw for Maeve. I'm going to call this a DC 15. That is only a 14. She takes a single step forward and goes to like reach her arm out, but winces as she can't lift her left arm. And goes to instead like reach out her right arm. She's like reaching towards your face. You pull away, and that's her turn. Saoirse, it's your turn.
I'm gonna move past her on the dais and chase after the remaining Genasi.
Yeah, she watches you go. Just kind of like follows you in a stupor. And you get past her, there's no attack of opportunity or anything. And you can easily get to the other guard.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna try and knock that guy out.
Non-lethal damage?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna use like the butt of my hammer.
Okay.
Or I don't hit it.
We'll see.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
13 doesn't hit. He turns and sees you coming, and there's like a moment. He does like a double take because he isn't expecting anyone. A, isn't expecting anyone to come from behind, and B, isn't expecting them to get past Maeve if they do. So he like turns and sees you, does a double take, and like ducks out of the way just as it like swipes in front of his face.
Oop, not gonna drop that compelled duel, so that's it.
Well, that compelled duel's over.
Oh, right!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would I sense that?
Yeah, probably. I think you would.
I go. Nah, yeah, that's still gonna end my turn. There's nothing really worth casting at the moment.
You could offhand attack.
I could, yeah, as soon as he ducks that other one, whop.
Nobody ever expects the second hammer.
That's right.
60, well, 14.
14 doesn't hit. He was
Yeah.
expecting the second hammer. Takes a step back and like almost loses his balance because he's like turned around to see you, avoids one hammer, avoids the second hammer, and his foot almost like slips on the steps behind him. That's going to end Saoirse's turn and bring us to Arik Sodier. Arik, you feel like a tingle all the way up and down your arm, and you're not sure. There's like nothing appears in your palm, nothing. It's not like a pulsing of the symbol, like when someone's lying, but there's just this odd, like very faint, like static electricity almost that you feel.
Hear that lightning guy's coming.
Is it something that if I cast, I can tell something's going to happen?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's just an odd feeling that you're aware of.
I'm going to run and untie Corbin.
Okay. Yeah, you rush up, and no roll required because there's there's like a couple of people there from the crowd who are working on the feet. You can easily reach over them and undo the knot tying his wrists, and he like almost slumps forward, but you kind of like catch him, lift him up, as he just kind of like reaches out, and in that sense of like doesn't know exactly what's going on other than what he can hear, he like reaches out and he's just like, Who's there? What's happening?
It's Arik. Come to safety. And I'm going to try to pull him away from the fray of everything and try to get him as far away from all of this as I can.
Yeah, easy enough. With how small and frail he's become and how strong you are, you can easily just kind of like scoop him up and take him over to the edge of all of the fray of fighting that's going on. There are now, thankfully, fewer fireballs being tossed into the crowd because the one who's left who was doing that is distracted with Saoirse. You carry Corbin off to the side. Does that end your turn?
Yeah, that'll be it.
Alfie's going to make an insight check on you, Saoirse.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you what I roll and what he's looking for, and I want you to tell me what he gleans with that.
Sure.
Natural 17, that's an 18. He knocks another arrow and draws it, aimed at Maeve, and he kind of hesitates and glances over at you, and I think in this moment, he's trying to decide if this is something that he should do for these people to remove permanently this oppression that has been set over them, if it's worth what that might do to his relationship with you.
Oh.
I mean, that sounds like a decision for him.
Right, but in this moment, as he looks to you,
He's trying to see how I would feel about it.
yeah, I think he sees as Maeve reaches out and you like pull away and step past her, but that in his mind, that's not instantly like, she won't care if her mom is dead.
I mean, you didn't attack your mom. You attacked someone else.
Exactly.
I think on a 17 is what he, from Saoirse's perspective, her mom shouldn't get off for any of this, but she's also not interested in killing per se, whether like in any regard. So
Okay. He has this moment. We see as Alvir looks to Saoirse, sees her fighting with this other figure, sees that she's handling it, and lowers his bow just a couple of degrees. Natural 1 for the first attack, goes wide.
Is that a natural 20 right after the natural one?
Natural 1 again
Oh my god!
for the second attack. I think
He can't bring himself to do it.
I think in that instance, yeah, he doesn't fire off a single shot. I think he is aiming at Maeve's head, and then he lowers to aim at her heart, and then he freezes, and he can't fire. I think that's Alvy's turn. Magnus. At this point, adrenaline starts to kick in. A bell rings 3 times. It kind of brings you out of it. You remember where you're at. You hear yelling, screaming. You hear fire. You hear a splash. A lot of sounds happen behind you that sort of bring you out of this moment.
Blood coming out of someone's throat.
Yeah.
I'll come out of the door, or at least peek out of the door at first.
You peek out. You see Brody has just, like, nearly decapitated a man, all but the bone, basically. As that person falls down, you see Maeve is standing in a stupor, fixed on Saoirse, who is swinging wildly 2 hammers at this other Genasi who is, like, stepping back.
one of them is a warhammer too.
Yeah.
And I see, like, you're getting Corbin out.
Yes.
Or you got him out.
Mm-hmm.
Would it take me an action to see what this scroll does?
Let's make an Arcana check as a free action. And we'll say if you roll a 15 or higher, then you'll have an understanding. That might just do it.
Yep, that is a 15.
Looking over quickly over the scroll, the text is faded, but legible. And you see, this isn't the same as the tablets, or like you would write something in your spell book. You see the elements that you would need there, but you also see there are basically these specific motions within the code of the spell that exist solely to destroy this item upon its use. And without including those, it will not function. So you think if you took the time to study this, you could transfer it into your spellbook and potentially have a more limitless access to whatever it produces, but it is a one-time use in its current form, so if you use it now, it will be gone. Just needing the DC and getting a cursory glance over it in this moment, you know that this is a spell that has something to do with altering someone's mind.
Ooh.
I'll say you don't know exactly how, but it seems your best guess is that it could convince someone to do what you want them to do.
Well, too dangerous to use just off the cuff. Could go wrong. Do I still have my action also?
Yeah.
Okay. I've used up all my spell slots. And while I know they're resistant to fire, I don't know, maybe they're not resistant to magical fire. I'll huck a firebolt at the fire genasi that Saoirse's fighting.
Yeah, go ahead and make an attack roll.
17.
17 hits.
5 damage. Probably 2 halved, but maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, it does not seem to have as much effect as you imagine it would.
Yeah, expected.
But they do take those 2 points of damage and are aware of you coming out from within the temple.
No, close it.
Okay.
Aren't we told that they close automatically?
They do, but he was like, kind of like leaning up against it, keeping it open.
Peeked out.
Really see this again?
It's like, you know, those coin machines where, like, you put a coin, it pops out and grabs it.
Yeah. Excellent. That's Magnus's turn. The crowd, they get The man and the young girl, she's a young lady, untied from their stakes as well. The man has some pretty severe burns around his feet, ankles, and legs. He kind of like collapses, and then two of the citizens who've like come up out of the audience like work together to carry him fully. Like one gets under the arms, the other gets his legs, kind of holding him at the knees where there aren't as many burns, and they start carrying him off into the crowd. The girl, that's worth a shot. This is crazy. She is like removed from her binds, and she places a hand on each of the people who are helping and like nods and thanks them and like pushes them towards the crowd. And then she turns and she's going to run up to Maeve.
Oh shit.
And as she's running, you see she holds her hands out to the side, and trailing from her fingertips is this sort of greenish, it behaves like flame but slower as it trails through the sky, and she's going to just bring her hands together and push on Maeve's chest.
Isn't Maeve facing the other way?
She's facing Saoirse, who's up against the dude, so she's kind of like looking off to the side.
Gotcha.
And like as this girl is running up, she like just kind of turns to her and takes the hands.
Nice.
That's not a good roll at all.
Rated E.
Oh no, that's a 5. Oh no. You all watch as the girl makes contact with Maeve's chest and pushes, and behind her there's this thin seam of that same sort of green flicker that opens and then spreads. And you swear for a moment you get a brief glimpse of fire and flame and ground that looks like it's made of flesh. The world itself through this portal is churning and moving, and she pushes Maeve through and it closes.
She just tucked her into hell.
Wow.
I wouldn't have been able to see that because the door's closed.
Yes.
Well, the door has, it's like mostly glass. It is a
Right.
window, so you could see through it. It's just kind of like old.
But the other thing too is that like if a portal like that opens, it's probably only facing the one way.
I think you just saw a green flame kind of expand and then disappear, and then Maeve is gone.
I was thinking how funny it would be if I just saw her like push Maeve and Maeve just goes "Foom," and just
Just disappeared. No, I think you see the flame, and it like makes this circular
okay.
disc that then collapses, and Maeve is gone. And then the girl falls to her knees and collapses on the top of the dais. That's going to be the guard. He's going to... You're right up in his business, so he's going to just take the spear that he's got at his side, and he's going to stab it out at you, Saoirse. It's a 16 to hit.
Yeah, that.
You take 5 points of piercing damage as you are stabbed
Oh,
in probably the thigh with a spear. It doesn't get like into the meat of your thigh, but just kind of like glances off as you step to the side, but it does leave a pretty deep gash.
My meat.
Your meat,
Your fire meat.
that's going to be
Your feet.
Am I close enough where I can run up to that other guard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, not a huge dais. Like nothing from like the inside where Magnus is to the bottom of the steps outside is probably like 30 feet.
I'm going to move Hex over to the other guard and run up and attack it.
Yeah, go for it.
It's not in. 9.
No, 9 misses. He sees you coming, steps aside.
Yeah, he can dodge.
Yeah, sees you like swinging Sonder down at him. You almost see like not a look of surprise, but a look of disgust at this vulgar blade as he like parries it with the shaft of his spear. This dude is well trained.
Yeah.
Question: would they be flanking him?
Oh shit, yeah, he would. So you'd have advantage on that attack.
Plus you can
18.
roll a d4.
Oh, yeah.
It's still up, sorry.
Yep.
I mean, you'd have advantage anyway. It's 1.
The 1? Okay. 19 to hit.
Yeah, that hits. For the sake of story continuity, we'll say he like parries your first attack and then you slash at him again with Sonder, and this time it makes purchase. Go ahead and roll for damage.
Cool. 15.
Yeah, I think this time you do get the head off.
Yeah. Okay.
Just beheaded. The Fisker brothers have both killed today. Magnus once and Brody
Twice.
Yeah, what is Saoirse feeling in this moment as you like wipe this random dude's blood from your face and your mother was just pushed into a portal to hell?
I think it's loud in here. I think it's just kind of a lot of chattering happening. And
like
not
the-
a lot of processing.
Yeah, like the roar of the crowd is like muffled and there's like a slight ringing in your ears.
Yeah. I think the blood pressure is elevated.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of thought yet.
Okay, back at the top of the round. I think the thing that catches all of your attention first is the loud rumble of an explosion in the distance that you hear. Everybody make a perception check. Magnus, you make it with disadvantage because you're still inside.
I can only roll well at attacking. I think
11.
10.
Perception, you said?
Yes.
11.
Yeah, none of you have visuals on what that was. You just hear this loud crack, this explosion in the distance. Sounds like, I'll say on those rolls, definitely coming from the south.
Like from the water?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's going to be Saoirse.
I think I'm gonna go help that girl up now that I'm not under. Because that was the only other guard, right?
The only one present here. There's tons of, like, there are guards at every bridge out of this district.
Oh,
there are
sure.
guards atop the walls. But, you know, who knows how fast word's going to spread.
Yeah.
There's other things going on, clearly, as well.
And then.
Oh, I will say this. Maeve gets pushed through this portal, which then closes, and the bright flame atop the temple goes out.
Oh.
That's not good.
It's fine.
Can I see Alvi?
Yeah, Alvi is standing, like, arrow still drawn, and his arms start to kind of, like, shake a little bit before he just, like, releases the tension and is still, like, staring at where Maeve was standing, but then he turns and meets your gaze.
What is that? What's the ringing?
Dread attack. 3 tolls means there are dreads attacking the walls. 2 is for a small incursion. 3 is bad news. Do you have any way of getting your boat here? Quickly.
I'm gonna look around for Magnus.
Where do I have any sense of like where Hush is?
At this point, since there's no immediate threat to all of you, we're going to drop combat. Alvi calls out and responds to you. Saoirse's looking around for Magnus. Magnus, are you staying inside?
I'll come out.
Okay.
I'm taking my veil and I'm putting it over Corbin's head.
Oh, okay. We need to get out of here, and we need to get as many people out of here as we can in the safest direction. If you can get your ship to the old port, most of the docks are gone. The wood's been taken and used for warmth, but there's still a bay there. If we could get as many people as we can on the ship. Seems like every time we meet up, we are fleeing from Gomeshore.
Do I have any sense of where Hush is currently?
Make a luck check. We'll say 11 or higher. Hush is just now re-entering that range. Ooh, natural 1. Hush has not returned since you sent him out.
Well,
We did send him to go find the Talos too.
yeah.
Yep.
He had a multi-pronged mission.
We tried to run back to the boat, but I don't honestly know how many people we can take on it. We need Talos too. We're not leaving without him.
Corbin, we came for the tablets.
The tablets. Yes. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hey, it's Brothy. That's Magnus.
Magnus. His hands come out and are shaking, and he like grabs each of your like arms first, and then down to your hands.
Oh, is he up here where I'm at now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's with Udrix of you. He like reaches out and grabs each of you, like reaches up and is kind of like feeling your faces. He's like, Is it really you? They don't have the tablets. I found 2 more before Maeve
2 more?
took over. Yes, they're in my basement in the rookery. If we're quick, we can get to them. We cannot leave them behind. Magnus.
I agree.
He grabs your shirt and he's like, Magnus, there's magic in those tablets.
I know. That's why I'm here.
Does he seem blind?
Yes, he's fully blind.
Oh, okay. Wait, was he always? No.
He had really bad vision
Oh,
when you were
back then,
younger, but
yeah.
now it seems to have fully gone.
So, one thing I can do as an action, I can temporarily dismiss my familiar, and it disappears into a pocket dimension where it awaits my summons. Could I, and that doesn't seem to be range influenced, could I dismiss him and then
Summon him here?
just bloop?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So I'll just like
That
cancel.
weird bird appears again.
Yeah. Really? You have to go.
Saoirse!
It makes that little like screechy sound that owls do. Arik, you hear, what is it? And then Saoirse says Saoirse, and then he's like, okay.
I'll ask it telepathically if it got to the ship or not.
Yes, your good friend, I informed him. I gave him your letter. He seemed perturbed.
How long would it take you to get to the ship if you flew there right now?
How long? Maybe 50 to 100 flaps, depending on wind, direction, and speed.
Okay, so pretty quick.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and your other friend, the strong one, with the beard, he was headed back there.
Great. Maybe he made it by now.
Yes. He had a bag of carrion, but it was small.
I see. What I need you to do is... Oh, I guess I should write a note because he can't talk to the other guy. I'll get out a piece of paper. I'll write a note. I'll draw a little diagram of the city and like where to go. I'll be like, go here now. Please.
Yeah, he roll it up, tie it onto his little leg.
Please go and give this to him as quickly as you can.
Right?
Takes off.
Okay. So we got that sorted. Now, let's go get this down.
Where did you where did you tell him to go in the city?
Oh, I told him,
Port.
yeah, the place that Alvi said that.
Basically,
okay.
basically the mouth of the river.
Yeah.
Alvir's like, all right,
Can you and
Let
the
me-
rest lead people up to the old port? There will be a ship there,
yes,
and we'll meet you there as soon as possible.
I'll send. There's like a moment. Make an insight check, Saoirse.
No? 6.
6. Okay. You don't catch what everyone else does, which is that Alvi is very hesitant to leave you again.
Oh, cute.
It goes right over your head.
Yeah.
But he's like, I can do this. I will send the rest of the Luxons to get you to Corbin's place and deal with any guards that might be there and hinder you on the way. We'll rendezvous at the port.
Take Corbin?
Do you know how to get to his house?
This little old man.
No.
We'll have to take him. We'll have to bring him with us.
He is slow.
We'll carry him.
I stick him up under my arm
Yeah.
like a football.
He's the ball.
I live in the southwestern quadrant in a small cottage that has.
We're already taking
We gotta go before Maeve pops back in from wherever.
No, we don't know that.
That's true.
Do any of you grab the girl?
Oh, yeah, I already grabbed it.
He helped her out.
Okay, yeah, she's unconscious.
Oh, I'll pass her to Alvi.
Okay.
Here's this.
Where's her
I
dad?
don't know what's up with her.
The guy that looked like
You hand her off to Alvi, he's like, right, okay,
Do you know her?
Yes, this is Renevel Helvig, daughter of Colburn Helvig, the lumber mason I was telling you about.
Oh, big coal burner or whatever.
Yes,
Is she...
they are not on good terms.
Oh, great. Take her. Leave him.
Right.
Yeah.
But why was he being burned?
Wait, so was the what's his name? You just said it. Was he? Is he the other guy?
no.
Okay.
Just happened to.
Who's
They
he?
carried him off. He was badly hurt.
Yeah, he's still conscious. Actually, he's like, at this point, I would say, as you're like questioning about this, he's like being carried over as he's instructed the people carrying him to bring him to the girl. Guy comes over, like being hefted, clearly like not having a good time with not being able to walk. He's a pretty burly dude too. He's just like,
Where is she? Oh, Rin, she did it again, didn't she? She exerted herself.
and Alvi is like,
Who are you? Forgive me, I am Valmir. I am Rin's uncle.
Valmir, what now?
Valmir Helvig.
Helvig.
Alvi explains the situation to him, that there's transport on the way, they need to get to the docks. As he says this, Valmir points off and he's like,
You mean that direction?
and looking off now, as the dust has kind of settled, no perception checks required, you see a familiar, massive stone figure just raising a fist up off of the shattered wall at the port and coming down again.